This NBA season was filled up with many surprises. For example, we got the Memphis Grizzlies becoming the number 2 seed out of nowhere. Ja Morant going crazy. We got Kyrie not being able to play half of the season because of COVID mandate that was set in New York. And then the New York Nets not letting him play away games for the first half of the seasons. I don't think a lot of people expected the Suns to be as dominant as they were. And then to some people actually thought the Lakers were going to be good. But nope, they were pretty bad. But the biggest surprise to me, and it's not just coming from a Cavs fan, the biggest surprise to me was the Cavs being a dominant team throughout the whole season. The Cavs were projected to win 27 games and ended up winning 44. We won 44 games, and if you ask me, our season was plagued by injuries. So us getting 44 wins is just something that could have been way more if we didn't get the injuries at the wrong time. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that our whole season was ruined because of injuries, but injuries towards the end of the season that we will talk about later kind of screwed us. It really did, because at one point in March, when it was like the first seed was separated by 2 games, and it was 4 teams fighting for the first seed. It was the Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then all of a sudden, injuries just killed us. And I believe if injuries didn't come at that time, like Lauri Markkanen missing a few weeks, and then Karis LeVert missed a few weeks, and Darius Garland missed a week and a half, and then Jared Allen missed the last month and a half, and then Evan Mobley missed the last month. Like, if those injuries didn't happen towards the end of the season, you would have seen the Cavs fighting for a number 1 seed, and how dominant we were playing at that time. I believe we probably could have got that number 1 seed. We were able to weather the storm the whole season with injuries, but then towards the end of the season, it just got too much, and it kind of weighed us down. And the reason why we ended up in the play-in, but it's not the reason why we lost the play-in. We were in 2 good games, and we got to build on that, and we got a very exciting future. But with that being said, we're going into this offseason with a lot of questions. How do we get better? Do we extend Colin Sexton or Karis LeVert, or do we extend both? What's the next step for Darius Garland? Those are just a lot of questions that we got to answer this season. I think the major thing we have to address, though, is surrounding our stars with shooters. When you look at the guys we have, we got players that can shoot the ball, but we don't have shooters. And I feel like those are 2 different things. Like, I feel like a shooter is like a Seth Curry. Like, whenever he shoots it, you always know it's going in. Or you always think it's going in. But we got guys that's like, yeah, Darius Garland can shoot. But I don't always expect it to go in. Cedi Osman, well, matter of fact, Darius is a shooter. I'm going to take that back. Darius Garland is a shooter. But guys like Cedi Osman, Lauri Markkanen, they can shoot the ball. But I wouldn't label them as shooters. That's what I think we need to address. That's what I think we need to surround Darius Garland and Evan Mobley in, because those are guys that get to the lane easily and draw double teams all the time, and they need shooters on the outside to kick it out to. Not kicking it out to Lauri Markkanen, not saying trade Lauri, but Lauri's a 35% shooter. I'm talking about getting a 38+% shooter in there to help us out, man. Like, going out there in the draft, we can go out there and get Ochai Agbaji from Kansas. He's a really good shooter, also a good 3D wing. And Patrick Baldwin, a guy who has a sniper on him, he would be really fun to have next to Darius Garland and guys like that. And then even in free agency, we can go out there and get a Brian Forbes, a guy that's not going to play too much minutes, but when you get him in the game, you know what he's going to do. He's going to light that thing up. Same with Otto Porter, same thing. He can actually play a lot of minutes because he's also 3-and-D, but he's also a really good shooter. Pat Connaughton, guys like that. That's what I feel like we need to be. That should be the first thing we should address going into this offseason, is just getting more shooters around our young core, because we have some guys that draw the most double teams in the league and they don't have no shooters around them. So that's the first thing I address. The next thing I feel like we have to address is, the next thing I feel like we have to do is, we cannot fall in love with our players. The reason why I say this is, we have so much players that came to this team and like built us up, like Dean Wade, like Lamar Stevens, players that not a lot of people know, but they're the reason why we have the culture that we have right now. And my whole thing is, we cannot fall in love with those players. I love those players too, but we have to find out a way to get better all around. We were a top 5 team before the injuries, and I say that a lot, but I'm going to keep saying it. We were a top 5 team before the injuries in the East. Next year, going into the season, we won't have no injuries, so we'll be still one of the best team in the East. But teams around us are also getting better, so we also have to get better. We also can't be like, oh, if it wasn't for injuries, we would have been at the same point as some teams are right now. No, we have to get better. So guys like Isaac Okoro, Colin Sexton, even Karis LeVert, yeah, we just traded him. But guys like them, they cannot be safe. And I'm saying that, and I'm a Colin Sexton stan. That's my second favorite player in the league. But they cannot be safe if we want to get better. Isaac Okoro, Colin Sexton, the guy that's going to get a contract this year. That's a really good trade package if you want to go out there and get a star to surround around this young core, because this young core is ready. I feel like the only safe guys that we have right now is Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. Off of last season, you can't trade Jared Allen. He just made the All-Star team. Evan Mobley's damn near Rookie of the Year. Darius Garland is getting a super max. But everybody else, I'm looking at, I'm be like, you got some value on the trade market. Let me go see if I can go out there and get a Bradley Beal that's going to be in the market. Get a sign and trade with the Wizards and get Bradley Beal. Give them Colin Sexton and Isaac Okoro, or Isaac Okoro and Karis LeVert. That's what I would try to do this offseason, because like I said, this team was a top 5 team in the East. And they're all young. But now if you go out there and cash in on a star like a Bradley Beal, you hear all this talk about Donovan Mitchell not happy where he's at. Go out there and trade Isaac Okoro, Colin Sexton, multiple first-round picks for Donovan Mitchell, just getting some younger stars around our guys and kind of catapult us to being a top team, not only in the East, but in the whole league. That's what I would do this offseason. That's the second thing I address this offseason. Just seeing what can we do to make us even better than we were before the injuries. And then next, our young guys, they have to take that next step. Evan, he has to have a huge sophomore leap. He's already dominated on defense, but then when you look at the offensive side, the thing he needs to add is a consistent three-point shot. I believe he shot 29% from 3. It's pretty bad. He had his flashes here and there, but he has to be a consistent three-point shot, because sometimes he does play on the outside. And then he also has to get better at self-creation, man. Evan Mobley has a lot of turnovers where he just loses the ball. He has the handles, but sometimes he just loses it. So getting better at that, that's his step that he has to take. Same thing with Lauri Markkanen. Self-creation and shooting. He has to be a very consistent shooter. And then for Darius, I think Darius, he has a little thing that he has to do. And I wouldn't say it's little. It's little for him because I've seen him doing it, but it's big for us because it would have mattered if it would have happened this year, because we would have had so much wins. He has to learn and understand what to do when it comes to closing time. Darius Garland has to learn that you can't be passive in closing time. Because Darius, like I said, Darius is the engine and everybody else is the car. Without Darius, we are not doing not a damn thing. So he has to learn, all right, it's my turn to get my buckets, or it's my turn to slow the game down because we're losing it right now. We're up by 10, but now it came back. Now we're up by 4. Now I got to slow the game down and just do it myself. Like, that's the next step for Darius Garland, is learning how to control the game, which he already does to a high level. But, like, you know what I'm saying, to a Chris Paul level, man, take that next step, because he has it. He has it. I already know it's coming. And then the last thing we have to do this offseason, we got to hire a better sports medicine team. Something, bro. This is the second season where we were plagued by injuries. Last year, I felt like we would have made the play-in because what? We was a top 5 defense the first month and a half, and then injuries just killed us. And then same thing this year. The reason why I didn't kill us this year, because we're just way more talented. We have a way better team. We gotta do something, man. Hire some better sports medicine team, man, or a better trainer, something like that. Because I cannot afford to have a third season getting plagued by injury. But other than that, man, this has been a successful season, and I'm not mad at all. Well, yeah, I'm kind of mad how it ended. But I'm also happy that we kind of put our names on the map, man. And I love our future. I really do. I love our future. Hopefully, Coach, that's another improvement. Coach got to get better in his X's and O's, but he's also an elite defensive coach. But other than that, man, that's it for this episode. If you want me to, I will do a breakdown on every team that got eliminated. So just let me know in the comments. Other than that, man, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.